everyone, my name is Riley Pierce, and today we will be looking at the street tree diversity of 11 small Ohio cities. The reason we began this project was to find out what cities had the highest street tree diversity and what factors led them to having high diversity. Street tree diversity is important because it allows the urban forest to be more resistant to diseases. An urban forest ravaged by pests and diseases will stop providing as many ecosystem services as a healthy and diverse forest. If you want to learn more about the ecosystem services provided by the urban forest, you can look at this graphic from Livesly 2016. Next, let's look at the methods. In total, we received 12 municipal street tree inventories, also known as MSTI. One of them was the city of Columbus, which we had to eliminate because it had so many more trees than the other 11 communities. But with these 11 communities, we continued on in our research, and I used these three different metrics. The first was the Santamore 30-20-10 rule. It's a very common metric that has been used since the 1990s. It states that no family should constitute more than 30% of the population, no genera more than 20%, and no species more than 10%. We also use the Shannon Index, and you can see the formula here, and the Simpson Index, which you can also see the formula of. So with that said, let's look at what these three metrics and more we got into our results. Over all cities, there were 46 total families, 110 genera, and 353 species present. The city of Hamilton had the most families, it had 32, and also the most species with 162. Something that's important to realize when we're talking about our results and also the taxon that were present in each city is that each city had different taxon present. No city had every taxon found in the collective bunch of MSTIs. And so even if these two cities, both Bowling Green and Upper Arlington, had the same number of genera, those genera are different. You're not counting up one genera, two genera. A genera is a category. It's the maple genera or the oak genera, and so that could be present in one city or absent in another. Another important result we found is that only 3 cities, Canal Winchester, Bowling Green, and Dublin, fit within the parameters of the Santamore rule. All of the other cities had one taxon that was out of place or more than one, and so they did not fit within the Santamore rule, and so we would advise them to look at their street tree diversity and kind of take a different approach. I think that the most important result that we can take from this study is that Athens had the most even spread between angiosperms and gymnosperms, but they did not really gain anything from having this even spread. Angiosperms, which are flowering trees, such as maples, such as oaks, apple trees, they were the most dominant taxon across all of our cities. They were always above 80% prevalent, while gymnosperms, things like pine trees and spruce trees, they were always much less than even a quarter prevalent in a city. And so what's important with this is that even though Athens had the most even spread between angiosperms and gymnosperms, it did not have a significantly increased amount of diversity because of that. And so kind of points to the fact that including gymnosperms as your street trees does not really have an appreciable effect on the amount of diversity that you see in your urban forest. Lastly, I would like to thank the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Urban Forestry Program for their help in collecting the street tree inventories and sending them to me. This is a project of the WVU Davis College Division of Forestry and Natural Resources. Thank you very much for listening to my talk today.